Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for the OPTC video. And in today's video, we're talking about the treasure map against Kid on a Gashima raid, free-to-play character for the Super Evolution, and taking on Big Mom over in the treasure map. So today we have a no new batch, no new unit, no 11.5 shenanigan anniversary characters, no Reiju, Sanji Pudding, whatever the fuck you want to call them. None of those characters are used in today's video, but we are using a Sanji and Reiju as a frame captain. Little caveat for most of these teams, it's the best way to play treasure map is obviously to bring that 2x booster. It's going to just give you a lot of extra gains and make your runs a lot easier. Once maintenance is over, because like maintenance is on right now, as that's the big reason why I'm using the treasure map planner. A treasure map planner is good, but like if you're on like your phone like I am right now, it is very, very finicky to use. So if you guys want to check it out, I'll leave a link to it in the description below so you guys can go use it yourself. But as you can see, it's got like the 2x boosters, the 1.7x boosters, the 1.4s, which has the 5+ pudding and the 5-star kid. So make sure you guys have them maxed out. We also have the 1.35 boosters, and the free-to-play characters for here are Luffy and Law, as well as the 5+ Bonnie, as well as the 5-star Bonnie. You don't need the 5+ Bonnie for these teams. As you can see, my teams are kind of the same. They just like change around a bunch of supports, and then we try to swap around some captains. But Bonnie, the 5+ works great, mainly because she's a free spirit in character. And with these particular teams, and using a Reiju and Sanji frame captain, you want to try and have one of every type on the crew, so that way you're just getting the most out of their captain ability. The 1.25 boosters have the regular treasure map legends. We are using Nami Karina, because Nami Karina just, like, they're the goats. Like, they're the treasure map demons. Like, they just work so well as a captain, as a sub. They're just so fantastic. And then you have the 1.2x boosters down the bottom here if you guys want to try and run any of these characters. Remember, as you can see down the bottom, there's only the Big Mom fight and there is the Kid fight. So you can just build two teams and you're going to be fine, even for New World. Both the teams have a 9.8 2x multiplier. And as you kind of go down here, you guys will see here that if you get 100% bird luck, it'll take you 33 navs to hit 15 million points. Which is, look, it's a lot. I don't know, off the top of my head, I think it only goes up to 10 million points this time. So 25 navs is really not that bad. You can easily pump out 25 navs over like 4 days or whatever it is. So should be able to get this done, even if you guys don't have the new characters. We'll try and talk about some replacements here and there, but like the teams are pretty set in stone. Obviously, like some of these characters don't do anything, so you can replace them with other characters. And again, we'll talk about that once we get there as well. So taking a look at the Big Mom fight, upside to the treasure map guide planner thing is like you can do this and it works quite well. Stage 1, powerhouse free spirit fighters get all the good stuff, and then on stage 2 you come up against Struzan, who has 2 million HP, which is unconfirmed, so like that will scale. And a little bit of attack. 99 turns to normal attacks only. He's immune to delay. He turns either into a strength, dex, quick, or in character. So like we don't really know what he turns into, but the whole point of the team is you have one of every type, so you will have type advantage with at least one character. 10 turns of bind on your middle road, 2 turns as special reverse, and then on stage 3 you come up against Big Mom. Now Big Mom gives you 8 turns of special blinds, which is very annoying, but if you're using Sanji and Reiju, you can remove that with their captain effect. You get a full bottle block orb, 6 turns of attack down, 3 turns of an attack down if you're below a 2.5 times chain, as well as above a 3.25. There's also a 150,000 death hit. Now the upside to the planner is you can click these little buttons here and it will highlight characters. So if I go remove, reduce attack down here for the Big Mom fight, click the cross here, it'll basically highlight all the characters that actually just remove attack down, which makes your team building a little bit easier, and you can kind of see what you're working with when you are sort of trying to build these particular teams. So Big Mom fight to take on stage 2, we have a bunch of supports basically to take care of that bind. Now we do have one of every type on this team as well, and ideally you want to start as Reiju, I believe. You want to start as Reiju, and then you switch into Sanji on stage 2, so that way you apply the poison, and that way you get the big captain multiplier. You have a full team of every color. You can chop and change between Nami Karina, because you have Kid and you have Pudding down there. I'll just do this to make it a little bit easier for you guys. Because you have Pudding and Kid, you have the strength of dex type, so Nami Karina can actually change quite freely. You want to stay as Luffy for this particular fight. Now on stage 2, I don't really know what the HP is going to look like, so ideally you want to try and hang on to the super swap of Luffy and Law and just use the Pudding special here. We're going to switch from Nami into Karina. That way you get some G slots. You have that poison slot that the extra poison damage that Reiju and Sanji's giving. You get the 2 turns of special reverse on the bottom row, I believe it is. I think it's, I don't know what their super swap truly does, but you might not need to use their super swap. You could probably say that for the final stage. But just the thing you need to remember before moving into that final stage is that you want to make sure that you have one of every type. Now, you can use the pudding special here. Like I said, you just need to use the super swap of Sanji and Reiju. It all depends on what the scaling is going to look like. Kid literally does nothing on this fight. Like, he's literally just here. He can remove attack down on the final stage, which you definitely can get access to, but you also have pudding to do that as well. So, like, if you want to bring another character that just is immune to special reverse, that's going to give you more damage on stage 2, which might have to happen later down the line, you can just replace him with someone else, and that should work out pretty hunky-dory. Or, if you're really struggling with damage here, you can just swap, start as Luffy, like the Law variant of Luffy Law. I think you get the cooldowns. I can't exactly... Yeah, no, fighters get the cooldowns. No, you won't get the cooldowns. Will you get the cooldowns? Who gets the cooldowns here? Powerhouse, Free Spirit, Fighter. Yeah, no, so you won't actually get the cooldowns for Law. So you have to, yeah, so you have to start as Luffy. And then stay as Luffy. But at the same time, you could also just start as Law and then switch into Luffy and then just like get the attack boost on them. That could also work. Whatever floats your boat in terms of just getting more damage output, but it's all going to be like testing wise, and like on Nav 1, like you're going to have plenty of damage on the first nav. You can have that base attack boost from Nami Karina as well, so that'll help you out a little bit. But again, if you just want to just super swap with Sanji and Reiju, get that cooldown for pudding, use the pudding special, and then you have Bonnie, pudding, and Karina, who's going to be hitting fairly hard here as well, which should take out turn 2. On the final stage, as you can see, I have the blind supports of Ace, Sanji, and Baccarat to take care of the blind on stage 2. And then on the final stage, you go in, you remove the special bind, you remove the attack down when you're above a certain chain because of the Sanji pudding, I'm going to do that a lot. Sanji and Reiju captain ability, removing those by 10 turns, as long as you have one of every type on the crew. And then Bonnie with the Mihawk spot, not essential. The Mihawk spot literally is only here because you can set defense down, and then the Sanji and Reiju, almost did it again. Sanji and Reiju captain ability will kick in. You can swap back into Reiju, get some poison off, which then just buffs your multipliers to allow you to hit a little bit harder at the back end. At this point, you can super swap with Luffy and Law. That gives you an attack boost to everyone. Luffy and Law will give you an orb buff. Nami Karina give you damage reduction. So switch back into what's her name? Switch back into Nami, so that way you get the damage reduction buff, and you get the damage reduction conversion buff with Sanji and Reiju. You get weakness. You get that tap timing buff from Bonnie as well. So like free spirit characters will hit harder after like 3 perfects or whatever it is. That's going to work out nicely. And again, Kid he's literally just replaceable here with anything you like. So the essential supports obviously are the blind removing supports, but the other two are just going to help with a little bit more damage output. So that's the Big Mom fight. If we slide on over here, we can take a look at Kid now. The team is essentially the same. Like, all I've done is just put Luffy and Law as captain, and then I just changed up the supports depending on what we actually need to get around for this particular fight. Again, Kid really isn't doing too much here, so you can replace him with like a damage reduction remover. You could even just run that treasure map Atlas on the team over Bonnie if you guys are really struggling there. If you don't have the Bonnie, obviously you're going to need to find a replacement as well. But for the Kid fight, basically what you're going up against, if we can just bring this up, is Killer and Kid. So on stage 1, Powerhouse, Cerebral, Strikers get all the good stuff. Killer gives you 99 turns of delay immunity, 99 turns of normal attacks only. You get the crewmate silence. So all your crewmates literally cannot do anything on this particular turn. So you just got to rely on your captains. There is resilience, and then 2 turns of defense up, damage reduction, and threshold, which is very, very frustrating to deal with. On stage 3, Kid has 99 turns of delay immunity, 99 turns of normal attacks only, 5 turns of a crewmate bind, which will go down to 2 turns after sockets, block orbs and bomb slots, 2 turns of damage nullification, 3 turns of damage reduction, 3 turns of threshold, and 3 turns of defense up. Plus he then puts up another 6 turns of resilience. Now the upside here is both Kid and Killer are not immune to poison. So what you can actually do is utilize the Sanji Reiju swaps to actually give you the poison ability to take care of the resilience. The problem is that once you super swap with Sanji and Reiju, you actually get you actually go into their dual form, if I remember correctly. So that's a little bit annoying. But now that I'm thinking about it, the Sanji pudding switch, I believe it's 8 switches, and you only get 5 turns here. So I don't really know how they expect you to get the 8 switches. I don't know, maybe one of the batch units does something and like get you the cooldowns there. I haven't really looked at the Germa kids. But if you just switch on turn 2, you're going to apply the poison, which bypasses the resilience. We have the Brook support to bypass the defense up on turn 2. And then when you switch with Luffy and Law, you're going to start as Law, switch into Luffy. So you get the 2.5 times attack boost, which is a massive attack boost. And you bypass the defensive effects of damage reduction and threshold. The idea here is that with the poison and with the Luffy and Law 2.5 times attack, you can use their special too if you need more damage later, just to get that orb buff. But the idea is so that way you just kill turn 2 with Luffy and Law. You just tap Luffy Law, and that's going to be it for that particular stage. Now, ideally, you want to move into the final stage with one of every type. So the idea here is to switch into Sanji, and then, or like start as Sanji, switch into Reiju, and then on the final stage, switch back into Sanji. You're not going to get like all the effectiveness out of the special unless you finish as Sanji. So that is fairly important for this particular fight. So start as Reiju, switch into, start as Sanji, switch into Reiju. Yes, it's going to get very confusing. Start as Sanji and switch into Reiju, and then on the final stage, switch from Reiju into Sanji, because you don't need the special blind, nor do you need the attack down above a certain chain removal in their captain ability. Realistically, you just want the extra effects from their special ability. Their special ability gives the weakness debuff and also gives that damage reduction conversion buff. So when you switch back into Sanji on the final stage, you're going to have the Psych type, you're going to apply the poison to bypass the resilience on the final stage, and then you have everyone else's specials to cover the rest. To take care of the damage reduction, you need to remove 3 turns of it. So we have the Atlas support and then the Tashigi support. Kid makes bomb orbs matching as a sailor, so you got that covered. And then Bonnie's actually going to rotate, because you actually have 4 Paramecia. Actually, now that I realize this, you have 4 Paramecia characters on the team. So Bonnie's going to give you recovery and stamina slots, which is actually quite nice. You also have Nami and Karina. They can remove the defense up and the threshold. They give you that overrideable orb buff, which is quite nice. Pudding can be your attack booster for this particular team, which is pretty cool too. So that way you can get some attack for Bonnie and Pudding. Yeah, Bonnie, Pudding, and Karina. Unfortunately, you're not going to have the attack boost of Pudding for Sanji and Reiju. But I feel like getting the damage reduction conversion buff and the weakness buff, it's just going to be a little bit more valuable than what having that extra attack booster character is actually going to do. So that should work out quite nicely. Sanji and Pudding actually give you an orb buff, which is cool. Their orb buff's probably stronger than something like Nami Karina's, increased by 1.5 times. So just use their orb buff, I guess. That's probably going to be a little bit more beneficial. And then you have that, again, that tap timing buff for free spirit characters with the Bonnie. So the idea here is just to sort of finish off with the Bonnie character tapping last. Luffy and Law obviously aren't free spirit. They're fighter slasher. So that kind of sucks. But with the poison ability and their pretty big captain ability, that's going to work out quite nicely. If you can use their special on this particular stage, they're going to increase the attack boost of Pudding, which will give you guys just a little bit more oomph for this particular fight as well. So that is the teams for the no new batch video. Hopefully this video helped you guys out in some way. Obviously, like lots of people obviously skipping this treasure map banner with the new Yasugo right around the corner. But if you did enjoy the video, belt like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Lights!